good morning, Atlanta. Good morning, East Coast. Good morning, West Coast. Good morning, Jacqueline. Good morning, all of you. Thank you for being here. Forgive the little technical difficulties over here, but we're ready. We're ready to get started. And I'm almost there. Great to be with all of you. We have a great, phenomenal speaker and a great, phenomenal conversation. My name is Giovanni Gonzalez, and let's get us ready. Mark Ham, good morning. How are you?
Man, I'm feeling good and vibrant today, just like I say I am.
You get to say, right? Lori K, where are you?
I'm right where I am supposed to be at the Daily Huddle listening to Lore West.
That is awesome. Mike Harris, two questions for you. What time is it, and one thing you're grateful for?
The time is now, right now. And I am grateful for good health.
Good health, yes. Why not?
Yes.
Saurel, we're ready for you. Good morning, Saurel. How are you?
Good morning, Giovanni. I am grateful too this morning, and I am happy. That's the way I say I am. I traffic in the world, and my theme song is from La Chic. It's called Happy Man. So whenever I want to create that space, I put my headphones on and I trot and dance around my room or down the backyard. So it's great to be with you, Giovanni, the #1 transformational leadership coach. Today, I have the honor and privilege of introducing our friend Laura West. Laura's a creative success coach for you and your business. She believes that when you shift your energy, confidence, creativity, and take action, you'll create the business of your dreams. As a creative catalyst, author, and speaker, Laura helps creative and inspirational leaders and change makers find their voice and authentic marketing style to create a business that creates positive ripples in the world. That's what we're all about here. And Laura has helped thousands of people just like you and I, entrepreneurs, to create successful businesses filled with passion, life, creativity, and real success. She does that through classes, programs, coachings, and retreats. And she's doing that with us today on the Daily Huddle. Welcome, Laura, and good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you. And thanks for the applause. I love it.
Yay!
I love that vibrant green background, Jacqueline. Woo, you got the energy going.
So, Laura, we're yours for the next 12 minutes. And the question Laura brings to us today is, how can you be more creative in your business?
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you. I'm so glad to be here, as I said, and love all the energy flowing this morning. And already, like, it gets my creativity going, just plugging into something like this, into your show. So let me just unpack creativity for a moment, because that's one of those things that that we can, sometimes we hear it and we can get into a place of, oh, creativity is for other people. That's for the artists. That's for the musicians. That's for the people who are the writers, the screenplays, you know, that kind of thing. And what I absolutely fundamentally believe is that every one of us, every one of you, as I'm looking at you, is super creative. It just looks really different. You know, our creativity shows up in different ways. Sometimes it shows up when, you know, you're cooking, right? And some people, I didn't get that gene, but some people love cooking and they love the creativity that comes with that. Or with gardening, or I know with Deborah, you love clothes and makeup and how that, you know, the appearance and the creativity shows up in that way. And then in our business, it shows up in a whole nother way. And the thing is, in our businesses, we're actually creating constantly. So we're creating how we show up on Zoom, right? Jacqueline with her really fluorescent green background and fun logos, and Lori K with her background and her fun stuffed animals and snowmen. You know, we're creating an experience all the time. In our businesses, we're also creating things like emails and videos and shows like this, like the Daily Huddle. And it takes creativity, right? It takes ideas. It takes, even if you have a lot of passion, you can have a lot of passion, but even then we can get tired or we can get stuck, like we can be really passionate about what we're doing, but we can also get fatigued, right? All of us know that fatigue feeling, I think, with COVID going on. And you can get in a rut, kind of doing the same things, and you need to refresh your creativity. You can get really overwhelmed and stressed, like all of these things that we're experiencing or have the invitation to experience, especially like in this incubator of COVID. I think it's really helpful to be able to look for these ways in which we can bring more creativity to our business. And and again, we can be really creative and passionate about what we're doing in the big picture, but it's when it comes to the little things, creating your programs, writing copy, writing your emails, how do you shift your energy and get into that creative flow so that you can tap into that universal, access point where there's all these ideas and inspiration available. So I'm going to share with you a bunch of ways that you can do that. And any questions before I get started, or comments, or just want to leave a little space there. Yes, Saurel.
None yet.
Okay, great. I saw you come off mute. I thought you had a question or comment. So one of the things, and I think this is really particularly important during this kind of distancing and isolation time, one of the basic things that you can do to access more creativity is to shift your environment. And I think so often, we're all sitting here right in front of the computer, especially Zooming all day long, taking phone calls and things like that. And we need to shift our environment. And so it used to be I would go out to all these cafes every morning, and you might still be able to do that if you can go outside, or if it's a nice day, you can do that. But even going someplace different in your house, when you're getting ready to write a newsletter, or you're going to do something where you need some of that creativity, sometimes just shifting it, finding a warm spot, hot spot out, in the sun. My dad has this great wood stove out in the garage, and so I love to go out there and sit. He usually gets it going on all the cold days, and it changes things. It changes your perspective and allows more flow of creative ideas. Even something as simple as taking a drive, getting in your car, and you could go run an errand, or you could just drive around a few blocks, or drive. I love to drive down to the Chattahoochee, just see the water running, and that can actually just change. The change in environment changes your state, gives you access to new ideas. So that's one. Another one is to move your body. And I think we're all really getting in tune with that even more during this time. But things like, getting out, taking a walk, getting out in nature. I think we've all been hearing that call a lot, but there's so much that's available for us now of, especially in the winter, where we're needing like these online yoga classes, online dance classes. I just signed up for this dance class that's online, something to move our body, because it's like when you're sitting in the same place, you start thinking the same thoughts and the same ideas come. And no matter how passionate you are about your business, you just get in this rut, right? Or the same old thinking. And then when you need to go do something like create a program or do social media post, it can be, again, you're stuck in this rut. So doing something like moving your body, even if you're dancing around your office, or like Saurel, you were talking about putting on the music and the happy man and dancing, that's perfect. It changes your state and gets you more in the joy. And when we're in our joy, there's unlimited access to creativity. Another one is meditation, and that's kind of like the opposite, right? We have the dancing, moving around, and then we have the sitting in contemplation with meditation. And meditation is a great access place for getting you more grounded, so that your mind actually can settle and hear the ideas, hear the whispers that are wanting to come to you. Because sometimes the inspiration, the ideas come in these really big waves, and sometimes they're these little whispers that say, hey, Lori K, go in this direction, that kind of thing. And meditation, either in the moment or the impact, the compound impact of meditation actually can help you settle and ground and be open to those whispers more often. All right, so number 4 is to do things like we're doing this morning, which is to fill your well with fresh ideas and things like getting on a podcast, getting on interviews. Even better, move your body, go for a walk and listen to a podcast, right? Is where you get to do both. I moved up here during this, my mom passed away in February and then COVID hit. So I moved up here to Lake Hartwell to be with my dad for a while. And so I go over to the Hartwell Dam, and that's one of my favorite places to walk, put on a podcast or a class, and move my body and also fill up in the beautiful nature. Another thing you can do is to have a conversation with somebody. When you're feeling that stuck or you notice you're churning an idea over and over again, call on somebody, call on a colleague, call on somebody who can help you just talk through the idea, and that gets things moving in a whole new way. Some of these things are super simple, and and yet when we get stressed and overwhelmed, we forget. Right. Last 2 weeks ago, I was getting ready to lead a 2-day retreat with one of my groups. And I was kind of churning the outline over and over again. And I could tell there was a stuck point. I was doing too much, or there was something that wasn't quite flowing with it. And so I called on a colleague from the UK, and we just kind of walked through it, and I just talked it through, and it was crystal clear, like, oh, right, I could approach it this way. And I got just great ideas from her. It got my mind unlocked from just having that conversation. A couple more things is, one is around writing and journaling. And I'm a huge fan of finding your way to write or journal. One of the ways of doing that is morning pages, which is from The Artist's Way, the book, The Artist's Way. And many of you probably know that. But, that practice of writing 3 pages nonstop, every morning, it allows you to get all the stuff out of your brain, all that stuff that's clogging up your brain, and pour it out without any editing, it doesn't matter what's on that page. And I tell you, by the time I always get to that 3rd page, I call it the magic page. Something happens on that 3rd page where I get this aha, or I can feel the creative flow happening. And it's powerful to be able to free your mind by writing, just doing the free write. Another thing I love to do, and I teach my clients to do this, is to write, especially for your business. But whenever you have a problem or something you're looking at, or something you're getting ready to create, is to write to your higher self or write to your muse. I like to write to my inner wise business mentor. And so it's, there's something about just getting outside yourself and calling in that help and writing about it. It's like the most amazing ideas come that I know if I was just sitting here trying to make it happen, I get so much better ideas when I check in with my inner wise business mentor. Another one I want to share with you about writing is, this is one of my favorite things to do, is to keep a marketing idea journal. And so that as you are working with your clients and you're having conversations, write down, what did you talk about? What were the problems? What were the dreams and the aspirations? What kinds of solutions did you recommend? What tools, what resources did you point them towards? Or what tools did you use? That is a gold mine for content. So whenever you're going to create, excuse me, you're going to create like a video or social media post or write an article, or you need something for your newsletter, you can go to your marketing idea journal that you've been capturing each day and throughout the week. And you've got a gold mine, a treasure trove of ideas for your content. Let's see, how much time do I have left? A couple more minutes? I've got 2 more minutes. All right, let me, I'll share one more practice, which is what I call following the creative energy and to not second guess it. And that's to let yourself follow. So often as entrepreneurs, we hear like, don't follow the squirrels. I love to follow the squirrels down the rabbit holes. Like it's where the creative magic is. Now, you may not want to do that when you're on deadline, but it's when you're in that creative space, or you're wanting to get the your creative mojo going, follow that energy. I had one of my clients, George, he's an artist, a coach, and a shaman. And he had this creative urge when he would go on his nature walks to create cairns, like those stacks of rocks. We'd seen those meditative stacks of rocks. And he started doing that, and he started doing that every day on his walk. And next thing you know, he's doing it every day. He did it every day for about 5 years. And then he would take a picture of it and put it on Facebook. And it started out as this creative, fun thing. And then it became a thing, right? Every day he would post a picture of a cairn and started putting meditative, wise words to it. And 2 weeks ago, he just came out with his book called Stone Warrior. And it's a book about his healing journey. He actually ended up 2 years ago being diagnosed with cancer. And so this became a real creative healing piece for him. And he wrote an entire book with all these great pictures of the cairns, his healing meditations, and talking about his process and healing process through cancer. So it's like, you never know where those creative, and he's doing really well today, just to add that piece. And you never know where following these creative breadcrumbs are going to take you. And there's something about trusting that creative energy. And we need to prime the well to be able to get those things going. So those are some of the different ideas. I feel like I just like downloaded like this whole creative like fire hose on you. And I know we'll talk about them as well. And I also want to share, I'm a big believer in rituals to help get that creativity going. So I have a great resource for you guys about that as well.
Laura, thank you so much. I love the fire hose and I love the dump. And it leaves me with this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, therefore I'm creative.
Yes.
And what I'm discovering is that more often than not, I would say I'm not creative or I have no creativity because I'm actually judging what comes to me. I'm comparing it to something else that I'd rather have than what came. So, right. What I'm really getting and creating as a practice out of your speaking is let it come, enjoy what comes now, and take what comes later as it comes, and just keep mining what just comes to me. There is no need for me to judge the thinking I'm doing, the thoughts I'm having. If I'm having thoughts, I am creative. There's no such thing as I need to be special to be creative.
Right. You don't need to be special. Everybody has access to what I call the universal abundance current. And it's just a matter of slowing down and looking for your way of priming the pump. It's like plugging in, it's really just asking to receive. And it's right there.
Yeah.
Love that.
Gio, did this conversation generate any new jokes?
I hope not.
So wrong. But I was just having I was underlining a mental thought that you just triggered for me, Laura, and you, Saurel, when you said everybody has access to the universal abundance
current. Yes. The universal abundance current, the UAC is what I call it.
The universal abundance current, and everybody has access to it. And I thought between what you just created for us, Laura, that was just really great to allow ourselves to maybe put it somewhere in our office, what to connect to whenever or constantly, so that it begins to use me. Do I need to dance? Do I need to walk? Do I need to move my environment? Right? Do I need to go for a drive? What rituals that will constantly connect me to the universal abundance current? And that was really great. And for me, another thought that was triggering was I have found for myself and the people I get to maybe make a difference to is that we truly adopt the labels of some people are more creative than other kind of thing, you know. And certainly I adopted it for myself. I said to myself, I'm not creative, right? That's just Laura and Saurel and Jacqueline, but I'm not me. And I have found to just dismiss it in a really like stubborn way, like whatever. I am creative, whatever. Like I'm upset about it. Like I'm fighting with the label, you know. And I just kind of let things show up, and I push myself forward in whatever it is that I'm creating, because damn it, I'm creative. I don't even know what I'm fighting with, you know?
Right.
And creativity shows up even in the upset, right? It's just like interesting. And I just thought I would share that.
Yeah, I love that. It's I love bringing the two ideas together that you were just talking about. One of the things that I get my clients to do is to create a menu of, you know, how do you get into the UAC? You know, what are your daily rituals? What are the things that work for you? Because they're a little different for everybody. And what I find is when we're in that place of, damn it, I want to be in the creative flow, I'm not creative, we forget. I could just go take a walk, or I could take a drive. And so being able to post those ideas so that when you're in that moment and you're feeling the constricted energy, you can look at that list and say, oh yeah, you know, I can go outside and see if there's any hummingbirds or the bluebirds are there. You can shift your energy. I'm going to put on that podcast for a few minutes and get inspired. And so, yeah, and it's like the piece we're in charge of is that we can shift, you know, we can choose something different. And I find that we need a primer, right? And rather than trying to tackle the label, it's like, just go be it, you know, go connect to it and allow it to come through you.
Yeah, the last thought I'm going to say, Jacqueline, and then you go, is that, and I said it before at some point here at Daily Huddle, but something that has really made a difference for me is that I really have a lot of judgment and an assessment about my ideas. I really don't think I have great ideas. That's true for me. And I have created this ritual, this habit to follow through bad ideas. And I've always find myself quite surprised on how good they could be sometimes. But my first assessment is it's a terrible idea, but I'm going to go through it anyway. Jacqueline, go ahead. Good morning. Thank you for being here and raising your hand.
Good morning, Laura. Thank you very much. So I guess my question is, I have lists and lists of trying to make sure that I get this done. I get the exercise in, I get the writing done, I get this in, I get that in. And then I still have a day job, and then I have my projects that I'm working on. Okay, so then basically you state we should write first thing in the morning about 3 pages a day. And, you know, so is that before the exercise, after the exercise? You know, I'm trying to get a little bit of sleep first thing in the morning, and then I'm burning the midnight oil and the 2 a.m. oil, the 4 a.m. oil. Okay, so where does all this happen?
Right. So what I love is to create that menu, and then you get to pick and choose your morning rituals. So there's some days where, you know, coming here in the Daily Huddle, we got to be here, you know, you may not have time to do 3 or 4 different things. Sometimes you're just doing the morning pages. Sometimes you're just out for a walk. Sometimes you spread it out through your day. So yeah, by no means am I saying you have to do all those things at one time. You want just one can opener to kind of get it going, right? And then the other thing is you also have to schedule some time, because you're bringing up this thing, like you've got to schedule time to follow through and do the creative project. I think so often we think creativity, we're going to be inspired, and then somehow it's magically going to get created in and around our day jobs and our busy days and things like that. And you actually have to schedule, like, okay, you know, and use your natural rhythm. So for whatever reason, on Friday afternoons, I'm always feeling really creative. So I use those afternoons that's when I'm going to write. And so I'll schedule out some time. Even if it's scheduling in a half hour, an hour, a half a day, or a weekend, or, you know, whatever it might be for you. Because it's hard to fit, you know, we're always creative and we're always being creative throughout the day. But if you're looking at doing a creative project or a passion project, that's something you want to really schedule some time in, and then do the primers to get you in that flow.
Okay, and I have one more question, and you may have actually answered this. So basically, how do you make yourself feel that it's okay to do that process of just taking that time for yourself to do these things? Because sometimes, even if it's for a stroll or it's for a walk or for a bike ride, sometimes the feel is I'm not necessarily not wasting time, but this time should be spent on making sure the project is done on time. Yes. So I guess that's my question.
That's a great question. Because I get a lot of people who ask that, and they, because you can feel guilty, right? I should be doing something that is deemed more productive. You know, we can see the physical output from it.
Yes.
You know, what I usually do is when you're just getting into this is give yourself like 2 weeks and say, okay, for 2 weeks, I'm going to try this and notice the difference. So for 2 weeks, I'm going to take a walk each morning and do my morning pages, or, you know, whatever your particular recipe is. And give yourself kind of a finite period of time. Because if you say you're going to do it forever, all of a sudden we're going to be overwhelmed and we're going to start not doing it. But we could hold like maybe 2 weeks and then notice the difference. Notice how when you go to sit down and do the productive things, that it actually becomes easier, right? The ideas flow more easily, or you get the idea in the morning and then you're able to get things done faster. Or maybe even excess ideas that you wouldn't have had before.
All right. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Great questions.
All right, well, very good. So we have come to our time, but we have 2 hands up, and so we will go through them in a intentional way so we can wrap up soon. But I am so excited that you guys, your hands are up. I don't know who was first. Lori K, go ahead. Lori K.
Well, I just want to say great information. And I too, Jacqueline, have been struggle with that too. I've been doing the morning pages for 4 years now, but I go through phases. Like I didn't do it for, a month at one point, and I was walking instead and playing with the different systems that work for me in those moments. But one thing that Karina, which most of us know from here, Karina and I and another artist, photographer, we call each other every Friday, and we do something from the Artist Way book. And we hold ourselves accountable to doing something that moves us in that creative direction and stay unblocked. So I think, Laura, I know that you're about accountability as well, and being in that creative energy. And it helps to, when I have that group that I get to with on Friday, sometimes on Thursday night, I'm going, okay, what did I do for myself this week? And you make that time that otherwise I wouldn't have done before. So, and that always looks different.
Yes. Yeah. You need your creative buddies, to have that commitment to, because it's so, especially now, it's like in particular, we're just always in this creative bubble. And then somebody was, Giovanni, you were sharing that your ideas, sometimes you question, are they good ideas or not good ideas and all that. And when you have, an accountability group that you can share things with, they'll give you great feedback. And then usually it starts multiplying and expanding or shifting in a way that you hadn't even thought of.
So great. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Lori K. Deborah, thank you for being here.
Good morning, Laura. Thank you. That was wonderful. You hit the refresh button for me. And I took some notes, which I'm going to post around my office. I just wanted to share that one thing that you said reframed something for me. I'm working on a new presentation, and I think of what I'm doing as a way of structuring my work. And I so relate to Jacqueline about being the hamster on the productivity wheel and not stopping to do some of these things, Laura, that you're suggesting that help the flow happen instead of forcing something to be produced. Those sticky notes that are like 3 feet tall, they're huge. So those post notes, I put them all over my house when I'm working on a project like this, and I put a colored marker there. And when I walk by it and I have an idea, I write it. And I really didn't realize that I was being creative by doing this. I thought I was just trying to meet the deadline of getting this presentation done in a timely way. But I'm in all different rooms in my house, and that structure is what allows me to create. So thank you for that idea.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, to me, it's like bringing creativity and productivity together. It's like creative productivity, and yeah, I'm a huge fan of sticky notes of all sizes. So love that. I'm picturing them around your house.
Very good. I'm also a fan of that idea. I have huge sticky notes. There's like billboards of sticky notes in my basement. It's embarrassing, but I'm fond of it. Saurel, thank you for creating the space for creativity. Laura, thank you for being here. Saurel, anything you want to say to wrap us up and give Laura her last word? You're on mute, Saurel, just in case.
Love to give you, Laura, your last words through a question that our good friend Ronald Bertrand asked. And the question is this, as the trigger for your last words. How do you get someone to understand that they are creative in their own way?
How do I get them to understand? It's something to me that it's not a logical thing that you have to understand. It's a thing you have to experience. And so like the things we were talking about today, you experience listening to a podcast and then you feel more creative afterwards and the ideas start flowing. So to me, I get them to experience things. I just gave a client a 2-week, very thing I was talking about, 2-week homework every day, do something creative. And we brainstormed ideas for that because we could have talked about creativity for hours, but until he goes and does it, then he'll see how different it is.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
Giovanni, take us home.
Okay, well, we're gonna take us home dancing. How about that? So let's go dance. Everybody, thank you for being here. I love you. Have a great day. See you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Ready to rock and roll.
Thank you, Laura.
With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you
Great session, guys. Thanks.
happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness